be the last of them.
The upload is not yet complete. You may wish to find Mr. Morgan's data drive first.
73. How are you doing?
Very well. I could do this all day because my batteries recharge on solar energy during daytime hours. Interface complete. Nova protocols uploaded. We can now override jamming and control the comms.
Lieutenant Ross, do you read me? Please come in.
Lieutenant Harwood, is that you?
I'm reading you, loud and clear. We've retaken Aurora Outpost.
Never thought I'd be so glad to hear a voice over the comms. Confirming, we have remote control of Aurora's comm system on our end.
What if Eclipse tries to retake the space after we leave?
The Nova protocols I installed reconfigured the base's security to subdue any non-Nova personnel. No password this time.
These troops, their uniforms and tactics were different.
Cross-referencing. Lieutenant, the uniforms are standard issue for Aurora Outpost security personnel.
Wait, they weren't Eclipse. They were from Aurora?
It appears so.
Abigail's not going to like this.
You're sure they were Aurora? God, this mutiny is getting more and more unbelievable. What I'm wondering is, how are all these people coordinating? The jamming didn't play favorites. Their comms didn't work any better than ours.
Speaking of comms, what have you got so far?
Well, we've been trying to raise any of the other outposts, and so far, no response. However, there is an absolutely enormous backlog of comm traffic that was blocked by the jam. Distress calls, requests for info, all kinds of stuff. We're trying to sort through it now, but it'll take a while.
What about Earth? Have you sent a report back to Everreach?
Yeah, but that'll take at least a day to hear back from them.
So what do we do in the meantime?
Well, I continue listening to these transmissions. You should get some sleep.
No, I'm fine. I've got to find my squad mate.
You're not going to find him in the dark, and you've been going all day without any rest.
Unless being knocked unconscious by a concussion grenade counts.
You can always contact your squatty from your room. Nothing stopping radio contact now. Oh, but before you go to bed, would you go talk to Mr. Reporter? He's been asking about his data drive every 5 minutes.
Lieutenant, welcome back. Did you find my data drive? Thanks. I guess you're not just a company stooge after all. This should give us some clues. It contains pretty much every communication piece of data that went through Aurora.
How did you get that kind of information?
I didn't become an award-winning journalist by only accessing the servers I'm allowed to access.
I know it's against the rules, but having it all in one place is handy.
Exactly. Plus, I already know some of the more interesting tidbits on there. What do you want to know?
Let's start with the obvious. What do you have on Eclipse?
Well, they did send an official message to Everreach 2 days before the attacks.
What do they say?
Same thing they said every week. Same thing every scientist, architect, and specialist has been trying to say to Everreach for months. Hey, this planet is filled with alien stuff we don't understand. Can we please have more time to study it properly? And sure enough, one day later, the standard Everreach reply. We need to stay on schedule and build this colony. Just hurry up and finish what you're doing. Leave no corner uncut. Apart from that, though, not any unusual activity that I can see. I'll keep checking.
Alright, I'm going to get some rest, but let me know if you find anything. Thank you, 73. I'll see you in the morning. Jay, come in.
Oh, Nora, is that you? Well, you're a lot clearer.
We've shut down the jamming. We can talk as long as we want.
Oh, thank God. You mind filling me in what the heck is happening here? I only caught snatches before.
It's a long story. Are you somewhere safe?
Yeah, I've set up camp in the forest.
See, it's a good thing you're the one stuck out in the woods overnight. You handle camping way better than I do.
Oh, come on. You only set the tent on fire one time.
Alright. Where do I start? So that's what we know so far. Eclipse seem to be the ringleaders, but who knows what other outposts are in on it.
Jeez, good to know before I walked into their camp. I was heading straight for them. The obelisks were the only landmark I had.
You should be able to use them to reorient towards Nova in the morning.
Okay, I will. Sorry. It's been a long day. Anything else?
How are you coping, Jay? You're not usually this
Scared?
whiny. No, seriously, you've been weird. I've never heard you sound so exhausted and demoralized.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. It's not like we haven't had hard missions before. Maybe it's the crash. Maybe it's Mike. Anyway, I'll be fine. I feel better now. More importantly, what about you?
Me?
Oh, come on, Nora. This is me asking. Honest talk. How are you holding up?
Honestly, I'm tired too. I've been going non-stop since I landed. The outpost commander can't spare anyone, so she has me doing all the recon. I don't know what to do, Jay. Things keep getting bigger and weirder. There's all these people, and I want to keep them safe, but I don't even know from what.
Hey, you can't take it all on yourself, Nora. All you can do is protect them the best you can.
You're right. I forgot how good it is to have someone reminding me.
Hey, no problem. You're so busy worrying about everyone else. Someone has to worry about you.
Why do you think I keep you around, dummy?
My pretty looks?
Where are you at the moment? I know you're near the obelisk.
I found a nice spot in the forest. Maybe a click and a half south. Way out of the way, so I wouldn't bump into any patrols. You should see this, Nora. There's all these glowing brambles all over the place. I didn't even need a fire to see. And these trees, they're just towering overhead with the stars peeking through. Man, this place, this planet is beautiful.
It sounds kind of like camping back in Haida, Kauai. Well, except all the glowing alien plant life.
Yeah, now that you mention it.
Remember when we used to kayak to the middle of nowhere and camp on the coast? We'd watch the sun go down and the stars come out, all framed with these old trees that had been there since forever.
I miss that.
Now things are calm. I'm thinking about Mike.
Yeah, me too. It's funny, even after all the firefights we've been in, you never really think this job will kill you.
I never thought someone would die under my command.
There was nothing you could do, Nora. I just wish that wasn't our last memory of him.
You know what I'm always going to remember about him? San Diego. 150 protesters at the factory gates, not dispersing, not listening to instructions. I had HQ in my ear, giving permission to fire. When Mike's like, "Before we do that, give me the mic. Let me try something."
Where the hell did he learn to sing like that?
I don't know. I still can't believe it worked. Kept the crowd riveted until backup arrived.
I wish all our missions had gone that smoothly. Rest easy, Mike. A lot of people gonna miss you.
Get some sleep, Jay. We'll see what we can do tomorrow to get you to Nova Outpost.
I wouldn't mind staying here.
What?
Oh, sorry. I mean, on this planet. I can see why people would want to settle here. It'd be nice to stay here permanently.
It is beautiful, but I don't know. I'd miss Earth. Earth is home, right?
Yeah, I guess it is. Good night, Nora. See you tomorrow.
Good night, Jay. Take care of yourself.
Good morning, Lieutenant Harwood.
Morning. Sleep well?
Eventually. Any updates?
So, my comms team and I stayed up all night trying to scrub through all the backlogged comm traffic, and we think we have a lead. Most of the comm traffic from the other outposts is dated weeks ago, around the first Eclipse attacks, and is just general distress calls. The one exception is Nebula Outpost in the southern desert biome. They're the furthest from Eclipse, so I had some hopes they'd be okay. They sent 2 messages. The first was the same distress call as everyone else. The second one was only 4 days ago, and it was for Nova specifically.
Why? What did it say?
Nova Outpost, this is Nebula. Please respond. If you receive this and you're still fighting, we can help each other. I have vital information that I can't trust to open channels. Eclipse may be monitoring. If you get this, we must speak directly. Please.
Have you tried to contact their outpost?
Yes, and no one's responded, but
But you want me to go check it out.
this message is pretty recent. There may still be survivors who can't respond for some reason.
And if not, the information is likely to be on their computer systems. So, even if everyone is dead, it is not a total loss.
I wouldn't have put it that way, but she has a point.
She usually does.
Get ready. It's a long trip. I've already uploaded the coordinates.
Lieutenant, you read me?
Loud and clear. Anything I should know about what I'm getting into?
Nebula was primarily a scientific outpost. Its chief tasks were scanning for electromagnetic fields and performing geological surveys.
Right. What the robot said. You've got the coordinates. If you meet Dr. Palchenko, tell them I sent you. They'll trust me. Or at least they should.
What the hell? More Eclipse?
What's going on?
Can't talk right now. clips come all the way out here?
A desire for more violence?
Gotta be that message. Maybe they figured they could take our people out when we investigated.
Either that, or they want to make sure we don't find out what it's about.
Lieutenant, I regret to inform you that I am experiencing malfunction.
73, what happened? Did you take a hit?
Worse, I got sand in my casing. It's extremely unpleasant. Incoming hostiles.
Alright, anything else Eclipse wants to throw at us? Okay, I brought that on myself.
Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Staying still and hoping the problem goes away is a common human response to stress. Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Staying still and hoping the problem goes away is a common human response to stress. Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Staying still and hoping the problem goes away is a common human response to stress. Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Staying still and hoping the problem goes away is a common human response to stress. Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Staying still and hoping the problem goes away is a common human response to stress. Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Staying still and hoping the problem goes away is a common human response to stress. Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Staying still and hoping the problem goes away is a common human response to stress. Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Staying still and hoping the problem goes away is a common human response to stress. Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Staying still and hoping the problem goes away is a common human response to stress. Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Staying still and hoping the problem goes away is a common human response to stress. Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Staying still and hoping the problem goes away is a common human response to stress. Lieutenant, recommend we maneuver to avoid or block line of sight on the gunship while finding safe route onwards to the outpost. Staying still and hoping the problem goes away is a common human response to stress. No signs of pursuit. It appears we are in the clear.
Still, let's get a bit of distance between us and that thing.
Nora, are you there?
Jay, I read you. What's your status? How close are you to Nova Outpost?
Nora, I'm sorry.
What?
You've always been the strong one. The one who gets things done, the one who keeps going.
Jay, what are you...
But I get it now. It's time for me to be the strong one. To be a soldier. It's time for me to fight. To save the innocent. To protect them. To make sure they survive.
Jay, what's wrong? You don't sound great.
I didn't sleep last night. At least, I don't think so.
You're en route to Nova, right? What's your ETA? Jay?
I read you. I'm just under 2 kilometers away from the base of the obelisks.
The obelisk? Jay, that's Eclipse territory. What are you doing?
Like I said, I'm fighting. For them. For the children. For the future.
You can't take them all on alone. We need to regroup at Nova and figure out a plan.
It's okay, Nora. I've got this. Jay out.
Jay! Jay! What the hell was wrong with him?
Uncertain. He did not appear to be performing to usual standards.
That's an understatement. More Eclipse drones.
Negative, my scans indicate a Nebula issue. Hypothesis. If Nebula engaged defensive protocols, their drones may be attacking any unknown or unauthorized personnel.
Lieutenant.
Mr. Morgan, what are you doing on this call?
He barged into comms a few minutes ago. Turns out he has some important info he got off of that classified database of his.
It is important. According to that database, there's a small archaeological team working in the desert where you are right now.
Query. Significance?
All the attacks so far have been on outposts or major installations. This was a tiny team out in the field in the middle of nowhere, almost unknown to everyone.
So Eclipse might have missed them. They might be still alive.
Go check it out if you have time. But don't forget your mission.
Attempting to access controls.
73?
That was mildly unpleasant. This force field was activated by Nebula security codes shortly after Eclipse attacks began.
Wait, so that would mean...
It is probable that the field was put up by Nebula survivors to protect against Eclipse attacks.
So they might be still alive and safe. Is there any way we can get through?
I am not equipped to bypass this level of security lockout. However, the Nebula drones are authorized to access this system. If I had some of their parts, I could create a spoof ID and gain access.
And how do we get these drone parts?
Blow up some drones and pick up their pieces.
Simple, yet effective. I like it.
There's one. Please try not to blow it into too many pieces. Most likely safe, but adequate. I will need more, however.
There's another one, taking it down.
Could you blow the next one up a bit less violently, please?
No sign of survivors, and all the consoles and computers have been deliberately smashed.
How rude.
So Eclipse destroyed everything? All the work these people did.
I have a suspicion a particularly diligent tech drone could recover some data.
Ah, smug mode. Recommend finding console remains for me to interface with. Downloading data. Basis for Sidiri translation discovered. The team uncovered a stone tablet with both Sidiri text and simple pictographs of natural objects: sun, moon, water, tree, and so on. Once linguists were able to make connections between specific concepts and words, they could begin extrapolating further.
Okay, but how did they extrapolate the name Sidiri? Seems a long way to go from sun and moon to that.
They have reports on how they reached that particular name. I would be happy to explain their thought process. I would need several hours, a slide projector, and a primer on semiotics, phonemes, and logographic writing systems.
Never mind then.
The team's translations provided new context for these rings. They may have actually been military installments instead of religious structures.
And why did they think that?
The repetition of the Sidiri word for kill on the surface of the rings may be a clue.
I think I liked these Sidiri guys better when we couldn't understand them.
This is where the team was able to translate their first full sentence in Sidiri.
What does it say?
Well, of course, the translation may not be accurate. The archaeologists note that some of the nuance is lost, and of course,
73. What does it say?
they believe it says, "Bad planet, stay away."
We've completed our sweep. No survivors.
At least we recovered all their work for posterity.
It's too bad Eclipse gets to profit off it too. I bet they're all camped around their big old obelisks, translating everything and passing it along to their bosses back home.
That would be difficult, as the translation data would not work for their use. The obelisks are not Sidiri.
Come again.
It was covered in the team's reports. These Sidiri structures are 4,000 years old, but the obelisks predate them by almost double that.
Same race, different time periods?
They considered that theory, but their languages, art, and architecture are completely unrelated to each other.
So, what are you saying? There were two different groups of aliens on this planet? That is exactly what you're saying, isn't it?
So the Sidiri came along later, but why? What the hell happened to them?
And if they didn't build the obelisks, who did?
Let's go. I think I've had enough of this place. Last one.
Nebula hardware integration complete. Please proceed to the force field at your convenience. Ready to interface with Nebula controls.
Let's do this. Drop the force field.
If there's anything else you wish to explore or investigate in this area, I strongly recommend doing so now.
"73Q, can you stream visuals to base?"
Patching you in.
My God. I interviewed some of these people. That was Mr. Mbudu, security. He had a mother back home. He was earning money for her operation. That looks like Aisha Samir, one of the top geologists on Earth. Took the job to see a new planet. They died fighting. What? Each other? I don't understand.
Lieutenant, I found a significant message. A signal sent out a few hours before comms went dark.
Who were they trying to reach?
Eclipse.
Eclipse Outpost, please come in. We just read a massive energy spike from your location. Please copy. We're tracking a planet-wide electromagnetic field that wasn't there before. Origin point is the obelisk structures. Eclipse, come in. Is this related to your archaeological activity in the area? Please confirm. Damn it, I told them not to rush opening that chamber.
End of message.
So, an electromagnetic field went up just before Eclipse started attacking everyone.
Chances of coincidence are 0.003%. Lieutenant, I found one of Dr. Palachenko's personal logs.
Let's hear it.
Palanchenko, personal log. I can't believe this is happening. Today has been a nightmare. Eclipse personnel just suddenly attacked us. No warning. We barely chased them off and got the force fields up in time. I was just talking to some of the people at Eclipse the other day. They were fine. But all they could talk about was how the bosses back home wanted that damn chamber open right away. Apparently, the pencil pushers back home forgot that when you rush something like that, you get careless. At least we're safe in here for now. Whatever's going on out there, we can wait it out.
End of log.
Well, frankly, I feel even more confused now.
What was that chamber they mentioned?
I think there was some evidence suggesting there might be a sealed subterranean room at the base of the obelisks.
And what's the connection between all this and Eclipse turning on everyone?
I don't know, but this is sounding less and less like a mutiny by the second.
Lieutenant, another personal log by Dr. Palachenko.
Go ahead.
In my last log, I said that we were safe behind the shield. I was wrong. We figured out the field's effect with the help of med staff. Well, figured out is a strong word, but we know enough to know we're screwed. There were some big medical terms flying around their report. Amygdala, thalamus, hypothalamus. But I got the gist of it. The electromagnetic field from the obelisks is designed to pretty much rewire organic brains. It stimulates the part of the brain to do with aggression and violence, puts the urge to fight way off the charts. It also interferes with regular brain activity, kind of like you got no sleep. But the scariest thing? Over time, the brain waves shift into the field's patterns. Eclipse's outpost was right next to the obelisks, so they got the biggest, most intense blast of this. But this field extends everywhere. We're all being reprogrammed now. Apparently, distance helps, and it affects people at different rates, kind of like how some people manage for days without sleep while others fall to bits. But it's only a matter of time before we're all affected. Either Eclipse kills us, or we end up like them.
Abigail, did you get that?
I did, but I don't know if I can believe it.
Lieutenant, didn't you say that some of the Aurora personnel attacked you at that outpost?
Yes. You think they may have been affected as well?
Look, I knew these people, and as nuts as it sounds, this makes more sense than them being part of some violent mutiny.
Another personal log. Go ahead and play it, 73.
Well, we finally got some good news, of a sort. Something that might help protect against the field's effects. On further scans, we noticed some irregularities in the field in random spots all over the planet, almost like eddies in water. In these zones, the field strength is greatly lessened. I can only assume the effects of the field are too. The irregularities looked familiar, so we ran the map against our geological surveys and found a link. The field becomes weaker in places with large deposits of ferromagnetic metal. These metals may not be the same as, say, iron, but they act like magnets and generate a minor magnetic field. This disrupts the larger obelisk field and creates a small, safe spot on and around the deposit. Most of these metal deposits are in the middle of nowhere, except for one near Nova Outpost, close enough that the outpost is in the safe zone. There might be actual allies there that we can band together with, assuming Eclipse hasn't killed them all. I think we have to go to Nova.
Lieutenant, if what they're saying is true, you need to get back here, right now. You're not safe out there.
I'm fine. I don't think it's affecting me yet.
All the same, finish up and get out of there. Sounds like their idea of holding up here at Nova's our best bet for staying sane.
It's over. It's all gone to hell now. It's just a matter of time. I brought all the staff together, explained the plan to leave this place and head towards Nova. I thought they all got it. Some of them did, but there were a lot of people who said no. They said it was too dangerous out there, that outside our shields we'd be picked off or just die in the wilderness. Then things got ugly. Everyone was shouting at each other, accusing each other. Some of it made sense, some of it didn't. I don't know. Some of them might have turned. Some of them might just have been scared and tired and on their last nerve. All I know is that someone pulled out a gun, and by the time it was over, half of us were either dead or headed off into the desert to die, to escape, to shack up with Eclipse. Who knows? Between them taking the vehicles and all the damage done to our food supplies, there's no way we can make the trip to Nova now. No one's taking it well. It's just a matter of time before, well, you know.
Found a body. Abigail, is it?
Yeah, that's Palachenko.
Final personal log accessed.
To anyone out there who hasn't died or lost themselves, if you find this, if you find me, get off this planet. It's too late for us. I heard shooting, screaming. I should go and fight too, fight and kill. I'm losing it. Sometimes I think of my wife and my family and things clear up for a bit and I can think I can be myself. But then I start thinking about the children. I don't have any children. They're scratching at my brain, screaming in the dark. I can hear the whispers when I wake up now. All those beautiful memories of Marnie smiling. I try and grip onto them and keep grounded, but they're flying away. I can't get away from it. Not on Eden, only out there. I can't get out there. I won't lose who I am. I can't lose who I am. Marnie, if you hear this, I love you. I want to go as myself, thinking of you.
Let's get the hell out of here. Jay, do you read me? Please come in. He said he was almost at the base of the obelisk, didn't he?
That is correct.
Palachenko's report said the field was strongest closer to the obelisk. I should have known something was up. Damn it! This thing again?
We appear to be doing significant damage.
Significant damage is still not dead. Jay, do you read me? Please come in. He said he was almost at the base of the obelisk, didn't he?
That is correct.